You can hate, you can fail to appreciate, but one thing you absolutely have to do is pull a Roman Reigns and acknowledge that McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line continues to get better each and every year. They've had this license, and I know there's so many who can't stand that McFarlane has his license, but for people like me, I get excited with every announcement, every tease, every leak list of characters that are potentially coming to us in figure form. We got a new list of figures that might be on the way, and I'm really hyped about most of these figures and can't wait to add them to my collection. Let's break them all down right now. What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. So much greatness coming, and this adds on to an already stellar 2024. Previously, I kind of randomly picked up a cool looking McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figure. Oh, that's neat. I'll take this one. I wasn't like searching every week or every month or every time there was a drop of figures. I was like, okay, that's cool. I don't need this one. I've still got my Mattel figures. I've got my Mayfex. I don't have to get this one. 2024 has been a totally different story. I am out there, and every time I'm going to Target or even Walmart, GameStop, I am looking, trying to see, hey, do y'all have that multiverse figure that I'm looking for? Because they've been releasing so many quality characters and versions of some real characters that I want in figure form. And I know McFarlane has this to share legions of multitudes, if you will, of detractors. I'm not one of them. Some figures could be better. Some just need a better mold choice. But I've really been impressed by the output of figures, the wide range. It's not just the Superman and Batman Chronicles anymore. And we're getting figures that Mattel never even did. Ambush Bug, Geoforce, Sergeant Rock. I mean, Sergeant Rock's kind of a letdown, but we're getting a lot more stuff. And according to this leak list, there's a lot to be excited about coming up. And at Comic-Con this year, they kind of sneakily had some of my favorite reveals. We saw a comic book version of Captain Cold, Power Girl, Guy Gardner, and their iconic looks. So it's none of this, oh, here's a wacky variant, go nuts. It was actually the looks of these characters I want to see in figure form. And according to this leaked list from the guys over at Bro Depot, some of these figures kind of coincide with some of the reveals that we already saw, at least in rendered form from that Comic-Con presentation. So I feel pretty confident that these are actually figures we're going to see. As always, big disclaimer, until McFarlane announces it, take it with some grains of salt. Although in most cases, the leaked lineups for McFarlane Toys figures have been pretty solid, just like we've seen with the Marvel Legends. So I think we can be pretty confident that we are going to see these figures eventually, and probably a lot in 2025. Let's break them down. There's so many that I'm hyped about. Some more additions to the JSA. I just got the DC Direct version of Joker, the classic silver/bronze age, whichever way you want to tag that Joker. Got him this weekend. Very excited. We're going to have another Batman Rogue Gallery from that time period. And that adds a really key core member of these are the essential Batman villains I've got to have on my shelf, and getting him finally. So that's exciting. And some other stuff that I'm like, yeah, Todd, keep going, keep cranking it out. Tune out everybody who's like, I hate these figures. Just keep doing what you're doing, because I'm buying them a lot more than I have, recent years. So let's take a look at these figures that Bro Depot broke down, or these characters that they have as coming. But first off, let's start with these figures that were announced and revealed over at Comic-Con. That is Tempest. Now, Bro Depot had him as Tempest. McFarlane Toys had him listed as Aqualad. That look clearly is more of a Tempest than an Aqualad. So I think that's the figure we're actually going to see. They also mentioned a Superman 1940s classic look from the cartoon. That matches up there. And JSA member Wildcat, New God Orion, weren't mentioned in this, but these are straight from McFarlane. There's no, oh, maybe they're coming. No, we know that these two are coming, and Aqualad and Superman we knew were coming as well. But it's exciting to know that, yeah, there's at least some credibility with this list because they already mentioned those. Now, let's get on to the ones that were not announced and revealed at Comic Con. And yeah, of course, there's still a decent smattering of Batman and Superman variants, but I mean, they pay the bills, they keep the lights on with this DC license, so we just have to tolerate it. There's enough of a balance of other cool characters, a lot of which are new to the line that, it balances out just fine. So, first one is a Batman variant, but this is a cool one that, you know, if he goes further and adds more of these characters that go alongside this character, this version of Batman, I will probably go back and get it. It really just depends if we see more. And I'm talking about the Batman from Batman 1 million. This is when he came around to the modern time or the yeah, I say modern timeline, but you see Robin as Tim Drake, Alfred's still alive, so really not that modern anymore. But this is a cool looking Batman. Of course, the real question is how's he going to operate that cape? I figure if he goes cloth with it, this look will be just fine. And this is a really interesting and fun version of Batman. So yeah, you can see, all right, there's some obvious part choices that he can reuse that won't be a problem. Maybe the Nightfall Batman and just come up with a cool different setup for that cape, whole big class section of it, because that looks really neat. We've got the speeding bullets Batman, so we've already got an enclosed mouth version of Batman. And then I think the boots, there's probably something they've already done and can come up with those. But that might be the only thing they have to whip up this new. I really like this design. If we get more of those 1 million DC characters from that Justice League story, that'd be really cool. There is one that makes a lot of sense that could tie in with another team that they're starting to get going with, and that's Hourman 3. So if they did him, we got JLA, 1 million Batman. I got to assume Superman's going to come soon as well. Maybe never for Wonder Woman because we still can't get too many comic book versions of her. But that's a pretty cool, interesting way to go. I got to assume we're going to see Superman and there are other cool variants from that 1 million timeline. That would make for a pretty fun subset of characters to have on the shelf. I wouldn't be upset to get more of them. And speaking of variants and subsets, this one I am so excited about. I was trying to remember and I saw the league list and was like, okay, which version of this is another variation, another variant of Flash, but this one is really cool. This is the Dark Flash, and he's got that really sweet maroon and silver color scheme, and I love that. I thought it was really cool to see it. This is what it looks like in full form, and it's got that silver slash white look, and it's a really striking color combination for him. One of the best stories featuring this version of the Flash. I will not let you all know because it's a really cool story. I definitely recommend checking it out. Is when he helps the JLA as they're dealing with white Martians and they're starting to remember, oh, wait, I'm a white Martian. Superman gets, this Flash reveals his identity, and Superman's like, whoa, how is this possible? How are you back? But anyway, it's really cool. This is a really great costume if you're going to start dipping into Flash variations to do and make into a figure. I really like this look, and this is going to be a really cool figure to add to the collection, especially if you're amassing a nice size Flash display. And they've made so many speedsters that this will be a really different and unique one to add to the shelf. Next up is one I think is kind of overdue. You've been a fan of this guy for a while, even though we don't have a true classic, the one that you're thinking of when you think of this character version of Green Arrow. We are getting his son. Now, the question is, are we going to get that modern current look that we're seeing for him, or are we going to get the classic look for Connor Hawke? I think this is really cool because we've got a Kyle Rayner, we've got a Wally West sort of kind of, it's not as great as I would like, but this is kind of the third man of this new school Flash GA GL combination, and they kind of toyed around with making a thing back in the 90s. Gosh, it seems so long ago now. I've always liked Connor's outfit. I thought it looked really unique, different enough, but still retaining that classic Green Arrow sensibility to the design. I love his headband. It kind of flows around. Got that full late 80s, 90s look to him. He just stands out in terms of not exactly looking like his dad, darker skin. He's got that blonde hair going, and his outfit is just sleek, and it just looks kind of sort of like a ninja. I dug that. So hopefully we get the classic look for Connor and not the newer ones that are just busy and just, hey, we're doing stuff to do stuff. Next up, I've told you guys before, the JSA is one of my favorite teams. Their designs are simple, but they're so classic. They just pop out, and it's like, oh man, I love them. And we've already got Alan Scott. He's here. I know some of y'all are going, we got a Jay Garrick, but I don't really consider that to be the version of him. That's from the button. That's a modern version of Jay. What I want is a classic, old school version of him. I think we're going to get that eventually, but for now, we still don't have them. And you've already seen we're getting a new Wildcat, so that's exciting. But this guy is one I really wanted because I just think he has one of the absolute best designs in the whole JSA. It's my dude, Rex Tyler, aka Hourman. And I just love this design. You know, sometimes you'll see it colored weird where there's no shading on that hood piece and it's just yellow. And that always looks really weird to me. So hopefully we get the Nightfall Batman variant treatment where the hood does have that shading in there. So it's not all yellow. He is definitely going to be one. I'm going to pull out some black marker or whatever if that is not the case. But this would be a really great figure to add to the lineup if this is indeed true. Now, there's some possibilities of where they could go with this. We get our classic version, absolutely, the original Hourman, but maybe we get his son, Rick. And you see, Rick also has a very cool take on this costume. Basically, the colors are inverted. There's some red stripes in it, too. But there's not that much else that requires some new dedicated sculpting. I'm sure McFarlane will whip up a new head sculpt because we've seen him do that with just all kinds of figures at this point now. But I think this could make for a really easy, obvious platinum version so we could get both. I would love to get that treatment with our man. So we get one to add into the continuing Golden Age Justice Society, get one to flesh out the modern-esque JSA that we still need to add some more members to, but this would be a really, really good start. So hopefully we get the 2-in-1 on that one because that would be really exciting. Then next up is one that I am just like, oh, you were serious about this. You weren't just kind of talking enough. You are delivering. I really hope this one is true. We are potentially going to see Icon from Milestone. And I've wanted a great Icon figure for so long. DC Icons gave us a really great static figure, but we never got Icon. We never got Hardware or Rocket or any members of the Blood Syndicate. So to get Icon in this lineup would be so great. I don't know what he would do with the cape. Maybe he'd make it a deluxe figure and just have the cape going all over the place, but getting Icon would be so awesome. Then I would go, hey, Todd, we still need Rocket. We're going to need Hardware. We're going to need a old school version of static. And it's however many members of the Blood Syndicate you want to crank out, I'm going to buy. But getting Icon is so key and major to really establishing a Milestone wing, the DC Classics or DC Multiverse lineup. I really hope it's true because he could make for a really fun figure. And, you know, he would be, shout out to the Star Wars Black Series design team. Truly iconic. So hopefully that does come through because that'd be an amazing addition to this line. The next up, because, you know, Ty can't go so long without doing this. It's one of his worst impulses. We're going to get the Dark Knight's death metal Batman, but this time he's going to be Jokerized. And, you know, I feel like looking at the price on Amazon, maybe more people would prefer to just get this figure straight up because $42.59 for that one. I mean, it's a cool looking figure, but we need to get that guy back in rotation and not Jokerized because apparently there's enough demand for it to warrant getting him back out there to the masses. So got that one and another addition to the JSA that I'm excited about. They would need to do a little bit more if they were going to give us a platinum where we get multiple takes on this character. It is possible, and one that I think they could do because Mattel did it with their DC Classics line with two of their best figures, or best figure and a figure variation, Dr. Fate. And Dr. Fate, I just love his design too. The cape, just huge and massive. The helmet, the amulet, and just like the high, he's got his above the belly button cummerbund deal he's got rocking. The color scheme is just awesome. That shiny yellow, almost gold, really does need to be yellow though. The big bold blue. I mean, I don't know. Do we want to see the helmet removable? What do we want to do? For the platinum version, of course, we get the more enhanced design where we have the modern JSA version, the Hector Hall version of him. And let's pull that up really fast, which I forgot to do, just to show you like, hey, this is an easy variant. Now they'd have to do just a little bit of sculpting, which I think is fine. They can make that happen with no problem. But this guy, I mean, that Johns era, Robinson era of JSA was amazing. If you have not, definitely recommend it. Cannot recommend it enough. But here is what Hector Hall's version of Dr. Fate looks like. So you see, really, it's just a matter of the cape and losing the collar piece there. So I think that's doable. Maybe. I mean, we've seen with these platinums that they do make a few tweaks. I would hate for it to have the collar piece with the Hector Hall. So I just wait if that was the only way they could do it. But I think those two characters definitely deserve their own figure. So hopefully we'll see that. And there's a real good, easy opportunity to re-release that figure with the platinum. Next up, there's still so many to go. Well, before I do that, let's take a look at my team. And it's just a real quick shot of them. But we're getting the JSA. The band is getting together here. I cannot wait to see what they do with Starman. I think Starman has one of the most, oh yeah, duh, that's what his name is. Star right there. He's a man. Just right there. Don't even need to think about it anymore. Classic Jay Garrick. Like I said, there's some differences between that one that we have. He's got a little bit larger than Pixie boots, but they're not too big. The one that they've released so far is really boots. Hourman supposedly coming. Dr. Fate supposedly coming. Black Canary wouldn't be bad either. So I would love to add in some more members to the JSA. Hopefully Sandman and Adam are coming too. We got that Spectre and that Crisis Wave. So hopefully we'll see some more. But Dr. Fate and Spectre would be really fun to have as your magical tag team on the JSA side. Now, for real, what's next is this guy. And, I'm really hoping that this figure is every bit as good as the Silver Age Riddler, Penguin, one of my favorite figures we've gotten from McFarlane, and Joker, who looks like he's pretty much going to be right there alongside Penguin when I start wrapping up this year in terms of my favorite figures. It's this guy, Two-Face. And they made a distinction, Silver Age version, which basically means this crisscross version of the suit in purple, the orange. We've seen this figure sort of kind of from Mattel with their DC Classics line. That was a really solid figure, but I think McFarlane would have some fun with this, just mess around. Hopefully we get that crisscross pattern to the purple side of the suit, because you really want to have that distinction, that difference. And I hope they, have a little fun with the scarred, deformed side, but not going too crazy. But with Two-Face, Riddler, Penguin, and Joker, we got the main core. Then we probably still need a little bit more classic version of Catwoman. The one we have from the Nightfall era is not bad, but we still could use more of a classic version of her. Then who's next? I mean, at this point, we'll have all the main guys. We have a Clayface. I would love to get more of a classic version of him as well. Mr. Freeze, I guess we do have. So Todd has done the good work in knocking out the key looks for Batman's Rogue Gallery. I guess Poison Ivy, she's one we do need as well. But we're getting there. He's making some good progress, especially this Two-Face rumor is correct. Then we got another Superman coming in. If we're going to see more artist takes on these figures, I'm for it. This one says Silver Age Superman, which means, the Silver Age, depending on who you ask, goes from 1956 to 1970, or from 1970 till the end of Crisis. They've got Silver Age Superman. I'm thinking this is Kurt Swan, maybe Wayne Boring version of Superman. But definitely take a note on this cover here. We got Brainiac, we got Bizarro, Metallo, and a little interesting shot there. We got Titano, who's rumored in some form of another of coming into the McFarlane line as well. But the interesting thing about that Bizarro on this cover, and this was totally intentional, was back at Comic Con, McFarlane had the fan choice New York Comic Con edition. I think I've been saying San Diego, but New York Comic Con edition. We got Green Lantern, Jade, Bizarro Classic, Guardian, and Eradicator. This Bizarro Classic would match up totally with the Silver Age Superman that's proposed. Maybe their plans were to use the Superman Silver Age and just, basically repaint it, give it a new head sculpt to give us Bizarro. And I think that's still possible. Yeah, Jade won. We're going to see Jade, but maybe this was a little tease that we are going to see the Silver Age Superman, and that Bizarro will still be coming, just not as the fan choice winner. So that's exciting. And we get a Kurt Swan Superman. I'm going to then go, hey, what about a George Perez? What about a John Byrne? Man of Steel, massive Superman. So that'd be kind of fun. A Dan Jurgens Superman as well, because he was, I guess, the most prolific Superman artist writer during my time after Byrne left. So I'd love to see that. So lots of excitement on that front. There's still some more figures on this rumored list. Let's break them down. It's another Superman variant. Keep that theme going. And this time it's Kingdom Come Superman. And, we've seen that Batman so long ago that I think a lot of us were like, well, this is cool. It wouldn't be bad to get a McFarlane style Kingdom Come universe, but are we going to see any more? According to this leaked list from Bro Depot, we are. Superman makes a lot of sense. And the benefit to that is Superman from Kingdom Come eventually joins up with the JSA, so you can actually have him work. And if we get that Hourman too, there's at least 2 team members all lined up and ready to go. And Wildcat makes another one. Alan Scott's 4. So rolling along here with the JSA that we can incorporate. So Kingdom Come Superman would work not just in the Kingdom Come display, but also your quasi modern JSA as well, which is exciting. Then we've got a character that makes a lot of sense, and we've got the movie coming out next year, 2026. But we're getting Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and this is a pretty solid classic Supergirl. There's some slight design changes, but I think this one works just fine. She's got the cuffs, so he can get away with putting those in there too. But maybe we can get Crypto that's articulated this time, because Crypto is part of that story. Now, we have gotten a Supergirl sort of classic from McFarlane, but that one, I don't know if the execution was just bad or what. That initial picture, I was like, this is one of the best figures he's putting out all year. And then the reality was this, and just a major disappointment. I don't know what happened here with this figure, but I gotta assume we'll see some of this reused for the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. They probably changed the hair and hopefully get rid of this long leg high boot situation, not just thigh high. I don't know what was going on there, but a real disappointment. And maybe I could just repurpose the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow figure as my modern classic version of Supergirl. We'll see. There's an option for you with that one. And then we've got this one, and you guys mentioned this back when it was initially revealed, the Superman movie 1978 figure that you can still get from my affiliate Entertainment Earth. But the listing now has a deluxe version of Superman movie, and you see in this promo photo that they're definitely the shards that strike up in the Fortress of Solitude, where he plugs in the crystal and he talks to mama and daddy and whips up the little chamber to take his powers or take away Zod and his crew's powers. So I wonder how deluxe we'll see with this. Is it just going to be these 2 stands that they clearly have already whipped up? We're going to see a little bit more. And how much more would you want to pay? Because at this point, we haven't gotten a Superman 78. We've seen that version. We've seen the comic book kind of dark shaded version. But with this deluxe take on it, this might be the one to actually hold out and wait for. Granted, I don't know what's included in it. I'm just kind of guessing and thinking. Probably makes sense to have these crystals, but what else? Maybe a Lois Lane figure for that. Hey, you ready for bed? Lois in her robe setup. Who knows? But we'll see that real soon. And that could be that one that everybody thought we were going to see when this figure was originally solicited to us. Next, I'm not going to go through and picture form all of these figures, but supposedly more Batman movie related figures. First up is Batman 89. We've seen this version from McFarlane already. We've seen the box set with all of them. So I don't really know how valid this is or what kind of tweaks are going to get made. We got a Batman 89. We got a Batman Begins. And we got a Batman with Batpod from Dark Knight. So I don't see that being a bad thing, but for the Batman film aficionados, there you go. So this lineup that we could be getting, I'm most excited about Dr. Fate, Hourman, two crucial additions to a real classic version of the Justice Society. Silver Age Two-Face, that is really exciting. What else? The Dark Flash, the Connor Hawke, Green Arrow, really cool. And I could be persuaded to get into the whole 1 million if we see more Kingdom Come Superman, because he works with so many levels for me. But yeah, another round of potentially great and exciting DC Multiverse figures coming to us from McFarlane Toys. What do you all think about these potential leaks? Which ones are you most excited about? Or you're just like, Todd, you haven't gotten me yet, but if you make this figure, I may have to reconsider all those nasty things I said about you. So as always, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. This episode of Lyle's Figure Files has been filed.